Talmud Bavli, Tractate Beitzah, page 32. Top of the page, with the words Hu de Amar Ki Haitana. The Gemara, etc. The Gemara responds, it was he, Shmuel, who spoke in accordance with the opinion of that Tana, as it is taught in a Beitzah with regard to fastenings that are to the ground, for example, those on doors. One may untie them but not unravel or cut them, both on Shabbat and on a festival. And with regard to those fastenings of a vessel on Shabbat, one may untie them, but one may not unravel or cut them. On a festival, one may untie or unravel or cut them. The Gemara challenges further. You have thereby answered the first clause of Shmuel's statement. With regard to fastenings attached to the ground, for example, those on doors, by finding a Tana who permits untying them, as does Shmuel. However, the latter clause is difficult because the Beitzah states that one may not unravel these ropes of vessels, unravel even ropes of vessels on Shabbat, whereas Shmuel permits unraveling in all cases. The Gemara answers, in accordance with whose opinion is this Beitzah? Hamani. In accordance with whose opinion is this Beitzah? It is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Nehemiah, whose opinion is a minority view. As he said, all vessels may be handled only in the manner of their designated use. Therefore, the rope may not be cut, not because it is prohibited to unravel it, but because one may not handle a knife for this purpose, as the designated use of the knife is cutting food rather than rope. The Gemara challenges, if it is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Nehemiah, why discuss particularly Shabbat? The same halakha should apply even on a festival, as there is no distinction between Shabbat and festivals with regard to the halachot of handling items. And if you say that there is a distinction, according to Rabbi Nehemiah, between a rabbinic decree of Shabbat, when a vessel may be moved only for its designated purpose, and a rabbinic decree of a festival, when it may not be moved for any purpose, there is a problem. Does he differentiate between them in this manner? But isn't it taught in one Beitzah on a festival? One may kindle fire with vessels, but one may not kindle fire with shards of vessels, as they are muktzah. And it is taught in another Beitzah, one may kindle fire both with vessels and with shards of vessels. And it is taught in yet another Beitzah, one may kindle fire neither with vessels nor with shards of vessels. And this contradiction between the Beitzot is resolved in the following manner. It is not difficult. This first Beitzah is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, who accepts the law of muktzah. One may therefore kindle fire with vessels, as they are not muktzah, but not with shards of vessels, as they are muktzah, and may not be handled. This, meaning the second Beitzah, is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Shimon, who does not accept the law of muktzah. According to him, one may use shards of vessels as well. This one that prohibits using even vessels that are intact is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Nehemiah, who allows vessels to be used only for their designated purpose. This indicates that Rabbi Nehemiah prohibits handling even those vessels on festivals as well. The Gemara replies, these are two Tanaim who both hold in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Nehemiah. two latter Tana even disagreed with each other in reporting the opinion of Rabbi Nehemiah. Both agree that one may use vessels only for their designated purpose, but they agree with regard to whether this halacha applies only on Shabbat or on festivals as well. And that's the end of that. New Mishnah. On a festival, one may not hollow out a piece of clay to form a lamp. Okay. One may not hollow out a piece of clay to form a lamp, into which he will place oil and a wick, because he thereby creates a vessel. And similarly, one may not produce charcoal at all on a festival, because this is not labor for substance. And similarly, one may not cut the wick, as this is considered bending a vessel. Rabbi Yehuda says, if one requires a wick of a particular length, he may cut it by burning it in a fire, but not by cutting it with a knife. Gemara. Talmud says, who is the Tana who taught that hollowing out a lamp is considered creating a vessel, even if it is not fired in a furnace? Rabbi Yosef said, it is Rabbi Meir, as it is taught in a Beitzah. With regard to the halachot of ritual impurity, from when is an earthenware vessel susceptible to ritual impurity? It is from when its work is completed. In other words, when the clay has been made into the form of a vessel. This is the statement of Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yehoshua says it is from when the vessel is fired in the furnace. Amar le Abaya said to him, Mimai Dilma ad kan lo kamer Rabbi Meir hasam el chazi lekaboli beimide avlacha lemai chazi voli vebshite. Abai said to him, from where do you conclude that this is the same opinion? Perhaps Rabbi Meir stated his opinion only there with regard to vessels, since they are fit to contain something. Although they cannot hold liquids before being fired in a furnace, they can contain other items. But here, for what use is this lamp fit? The Gemara responds, it can be used to contain small coins. Some say the following version of the discussion. Rabbi Yosef said the mission is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer, son of Rabbi Sadok, as we learned. Haraniot pots, ilfasin, haraniot. Haraniot pots, ilpasin, haraniot. Ilpasin pots, haraniot pots, are unfinished earthenware pots made together with their covers. The covers are removed after they are fired in a furnace, and they are pure with regard to contracting the impurity of a tent over a corpse. As they do not have a receptacle, earthenware vessels can contract impurity imparted by a corpse only if they have a hollow space that can contain something. But haraniot pots are rendered impure by the carrying of a zav, even if the zav moved them without actually touching them, as this impurity applies to any earthenware vessels that serve some purpose. Rabbi Eliezer, son of Rabbi Tzadok, says these vessels are even pure with regard to the impurity imparted by the carrying of a zav, because their labor is not completed. Therefore, they are not fully formed. This implies that when the pots are completed, they are considered full-fledged vessels even before they have been fired in a furnace. Abaye said to him, perhaps it is not so, as it is possible to say that Rabbi Eliezer, the son of Rabbi Tzadok, stated his opinion only here in the case of harniot pots, since they are fit to contain something, but here, in the case of a lamb, for what is it? The Gemara replies, it is fit to contain small coins. The sages taught, one may not hollow out a lamp, and one may not create harniot pots on a festival. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel permits creating harniot pots. The Gemara asks, what is the meaning of harniot? Rabbi Yehuda said, they are pots of a city, like irniot. Okay. The Gemara again inquires, what is the meaning of irniot? Abaye said, it means villagers, bulls, who will use even clay vessels that have not been fully formed or fired, as they are not particular with regard to half-finished utensils. It is taught in a Mishnah, and one may not produce charcoal on a festival. The Gemara challenges. It is obvious that one may perform only labor for sustenance, for what is charcoal fit? What purpose does it have for the sake of sustenance? Rabbi taught, it is necessary to teach this halacha only in a case of handling the charcoal over to the bathhouse attendants to heat up the bathhouse for that day. One might have thought that since charcoal is used for the sake of washing on a festival, producing it should be permitted. The Gemara questions this. On that day, is it permitted to heat up water for washing? The sages decreed that one may not wash in a bathhouse on a festival, even if the water was heated up the day before, and certainly it is prohibited if the water was heated on the festival itself. The Gemara replies, as Rava said, with regard to a different issue. This decree does not refer to actual washing, but to entering a bathhouse merely in order to sweat, and it was stated before the enactment of the decree against sweating in the bathhouse here. Too, one can explain that the statement of Rabbi Chia is referring to a case where one entered to sweat, and he entered at a time before the decree was enacted. It was taught in the Mishnah, one may not cut a wick into two, but Rabbi Yehuda permits cutting it by means of fire. The Gemara says, what is different about cutting a wick with fire as opposed to with a knife? That one may not cut a wick with a knife.